Troublesome 20 hours for USC as JuJu, Watkins and co. collapse in AP 25 rankings. The best team in program history, ranked No. 4. A 12-game winning streak, led by generational talent JuJu Watkins. These were the bets as USC entered the game against Iowa. Meanwhile, the Hawkeyes came unranked after 5 straight losses in January. Everything pointed to the Trojans rolling through Carver Hockey Arena, right? Well, the Hawkeyes had other plans, and they had the perfect fuel, Caitlin Clark. On her jersey retirement day, Iowa showed up in full force, riding an emotional wave to a massive 76-69 upset. And for USC, it was a gut punch that hurt even more just 20 hours later. Because by the time Monday morning rolled around, the new AP rankings dropped, and boom, USC was no longer No. 4. Just 20 hours after their 2:30 a.m. defeat at Iowa, the 10:30 a.m. AP poll update hit, knocking them down 3 spots. One bad game, and they tumbled 3 spots and now sit at No. 7. Trojans surely didn't expect to take an L in Iowa, but you know what? Maybe they should have seen it coming, because Hawkeyes weren't going to let CC's big day end in disappointment. Whether it was the Caitlin Clark effect, radiating from the stands, or just sheer determination, Iowa played some good basketball. And the Trojans got caught sleeping, again. Iowa came out firing, holding USC to a shocking 4 points in the entire first quarter. By the time Watkins found her rhythm, the damage was done. The Trojans clawed their way back, even taking a lead into halftime after a massive second-quarter surge. But in the fourth quarter, Lucy Olson dropped 15 points, closing the game out in front of a sold-out, electrified Carver Hockey Arena. It was Iowa's biggest post-Caitlin Clark win, and even though Watkins still put up 27 points, even scaring the Indiana Fever star herself, it wasn't her best shooting day. So her efforts weren't just enough, especially not when USC let their slow start dig them a hole too deep to climb out of. Same story, different game. JuJu, Watkins and co.'s road slow starts continue. If you've been following USC lately, you know this isn't a one-time thing. This team has made a habit of starting slow on the road, and it's becoming a real problem. Just look at the pattern. On December 21, USC faced UConn and built a nearly 20-point lead, only to let it slip away before barely holding on for a win. On January 14, they fell behind early against Indiana before rallying back. A similar story unfolded on January 19 when they took on Purdue, starting slow but recovering with a huge second quarter. Then, on January 26 against Maryland, they once again found themselves in an early deficit, forcing yet another late-game scramble. And now, the Iowa game. A 23-4 first-quarter deficit was just brutal. Sure, USC went on a 17-1 run and even took a 6-point lead in the third quarter. But when you spend the entire game trying to climb out of a hole, every mistake gets magnified. And that's exactly what happened. Iowa took advantage of USC's foul trouble, capitalized on key turnovers, and never let the Trojans regain control. So although they did end up winning all the other ones, this one must be a wake-up call for them. And look, it's February. They still have this month to fix this before March Madness, because a slow start in the NCAA tournament is a whole different beast. You don't get second chances in March. One bad quarter and your season could be over. USC has the talent. They have JuJu Watkins, Kiki Ariafin, and more good players. But if they want to make a deep run, they cannot keep digging themselves into these early deficits. Let's see if they figure out how to start games strong in the next ones. Visiting locker room. Fight on 247 talks, Trojans women's basketball. Talking about JuJu Watkins and USC before the Buckeyes take the short trip south. On Saturday, No. 8 Ohio State women's basketball plays its second game on an away trip full of tough opponents and even worse traffic. After the Buckeyes lost to the No. 1 UCLA Bruins 65-52, despite tying the last undefeated team with 9:26 remaining in the game, there's more pressure than before to take a positive result back to Ohio. Enter the No. 7 USC Trojans, A side led by superstar sophomore JuJu Watkins and a team set up for success under head coach Lindsay Gottlieb. Before the Buckies and Trojans play for the second time in 2 seasons, land-grant Holy Land reached out to Fight on 247, a site dedicated to covering the Trojans, and specifically women's basketball beat writer Ahmed Akawi. Akawi spent time talking about not only Watkins, but the impact of transfer Kiki Ariafin, how USC is so successful blocking shots, and more. Fight on 247 is up next in the visiting locker room. Land-grant Holy Land, Ohio State faced JuJu Watkins in her first NCAA game, falling to the Trojans with Watkins scoring 33 points despite getting into foul trouble. How has Watkins grown?